In the dimly lit chamber of the Galactic Council, tension crackled like static in the air. The screens flickered with data as the council members leaned forward, their faces illuminated by the glow of the monitors across the room. A warning signal echoed repeatedly. It was urgent and disconcerting. The familiar voice of the chief observer broke through the murmur of concerned voices. Councillor Taryn, the head of the security division, stood at the forefront, her brow furrowed with worry. She had seen many threats in her years of service, but nothing like this. An unknown fleet had breached their territory without detection. The reports suggested they were headed toward the outer rim, where a small research outpost lay vulnerable. What kind of fleet could move so stealthily through their systems? Her mind raced with possibilities. Images of devastating attacks flickered through her thoughts. She exchanged glances with Councillor Rail, who oversaw interstellar diplomacy. His expression mirrored her own alarm. Commander Vavin, a seasoned officer known for his decisive actions, stepped forward, his voice steady yet urgent. "We need to act now," he said. "This could be an invasion. We cannot afford to hesitate." The chamber buzzed with tension as members debated the best course of action. Should they send a reconnaissance team or mobilize a defensive fleet? Some suggested launching an immediate strike, while others urged caution. The arguments echoed through the vast hall. The stakes were high, and every decision could alter the fate of their galaxy. Suddenly the main screen shifted, showing a view of the approaching fleet. The ships glinted ominously against the backdrop of the stars. Their design was unlike anything the Council had encountered before, sleek and angular with dark hulls that seemed to absorb the light. A collective gasp filled the room as the realization struck them they had never seen vessels like these. Councillor Taryn felt a chill run down her spine as she recognized the insignia emblazoned on the lead ship, an emblem that had been long thought extinct, a relic from the dark days of intergalactic war. The humans. "Are we truly witnessing a human fleet?" Vavin asked, his voice barely above a whisper, disbelief creeping into his tone. The council erupted in chaos. Members shouted over each other. Some clamored for immediate action, while others argued for diplomacy. What if they were here to negotiate, to reclaim their lost heritage? Taryn thought desperately. She remembered the stories of humanity, how they had once been a formidable force before their disappearance from the galaxy. Yet she also recalled the warnings of their past, the conflicts that had torn through the stars, and the devastation that had followed. Perhaps this was not a reunion, but a prelude to war. The head of the council, a wise elder named Eldrin, raised his hand for silence. His voice echoed through the hall, calm, yet commanding. "We must not act out of fear," he urged. "We must gather intelligence. Before we make any decisions, let us see what they want." As the chamber quieted, Taryn felt a surge of resolve. She would not let her fear dictate their response. She knew they had to be prepared for whatever came next. The council agreed to send a small diplomatic team to make contact, but the weight of uncertainty hung over them like a storm cloud. They watched as the human fleet drew closer, their hearts racing with anticipation and dread. What would this encounter bring? Were they facing a new ally or an ancient adversary? The question lingered in the air, charged with potential and peril. As the diplomatic team prepared for the unprecedented meeting, tension coiled tightly in the air. The council chamber buzzed with nervous energy. Councillor Taryn paced back and forth, glancing at the monitors displaying the fleet's movements. The unfamiliar ships remained ominously still, hovering just beyond the outpost, a dark shadow against the stars. Commander Valen stood beside her, arms crossed, his jaw set in determination. Taryn could sense his resolve, but also the flicker of doubt in his eyes. How could they predict the actions of a people long thought lost to history? At last the council decided to send a small vessel equipped with the latest communication technology, a sleek ship named the Unity. It was designed for diplomacy and stealth, an ideal choice for such a delicate situation. As they boarded the ship, Valen took the lead, briefing the team on their objectives. "Remain calm and open." He instructed we must show them we come in peace. The Unity slipped away from the Council's flagship, moving toward the human fleet. The stars shimmered around them like distant memories. Taryn felt a pang of nostalgia, remembering the tales of humanity, their adventures, their struggles, and the ultimate sacrifice that had caused their disappearance. As the ship approached the lead vessel, a strange silence enveloped them. No radio chatter, no signs of life, just the emptiness of space pressing in Taryn's heart. Raced with anticipation, she could feel the weight of history resting on this moment. Finally, the Unity's sensors picked up a response, a signal pulsing from the human ship. It was unlike any they had encountered before, a complex code that filled the screens with patterns and lights. The crew exchanged glances, both intrigued and wary. Valen leaned closer to the console as the communication officer decoded the message. It was a greeting, a simple yet profound declaration: we come in peace. With the message translated, a sense of relief washed over Taryn, but Valen's expression remained cautiously activated. The comm system addressing the human ship: "This is Commander Valen of the Galactic Council. We acknowledge your presence and seek to establish communication." Silence stretched for what felt like an eternity before a voice crackled through the speakers, rich with emotion and defiance. "We are human, we have returned." The words struck Taryn like a bolt of lightning, their tone filled with a mixture of pride and wariness. The voice belonged to a woman with strength woven into every syllable. She continued, "We are here to reclaim our place in the galaxy." As the conversation unfolded, Taryn listened intently. The humans spoke of their journey through the dark void of space, their struggles against isolation, their hope for a new beginning. Each word painted a vivid picture of resilience and survival. Valen pressed for details about their fleet. What capabilities did they possess? How had they navigated the galaxy unseen? The woman replied, "We have adapted, we have learned from our past. But we are not here to threaten you. We seek allies in a universe that has changed dramatically." Taryn felt a surge of hope mingled with skepticism. Could this be true? Could these humans represent a new era of cooperation the Council had longed for? Suddenly, alarms blared aboard the Unity. A sudden jolt shook the ship as a warning light flickered on the control panel. A hostile ship had emerged from the shadows of the human fleet, its weapons charged and aimed directly at them. Panic erupted among the crew. Valen shouted orders to prepare for evasive maneuvers. But Taryn's heart sank in that moment. Would this encounter end in conflict before it had even begun? As the hostile ship loomed closer, she realized that the fragile thread of diplomacy hung by a thread. Their fate and the fate of the galaxy rested on the decisions they made in the next few moments. The alarms blared relentlessly as Commander Valen wrestled with the controls of the Unity. The ship shuddered under the stress of the sudden confrontation. The crew scrambled to their stations, their eyes wide with fear and uncertainty. Taryn felt her heart race as she turned to the monitor displaying the human fleet. The once proud ships now seemed like a barrier separating them from a potential ally, and an impending war. The lead vessel, where the human representative spoke moments ago, stood as a beacon of hope, now overshadowed by the menacing presence of the hostile ship. Valen's voice rang out over the chaos. "We need to establish a secure channel with the humans." He ordered. The communication officer nodded quickly, their hands dancing over the controls as they attempted to reconnect. "We cannot afford to be caught in the crossfire," Taryn thought desperately as she scanned the screens. The hostile ship's weapons glimmered ominously, ready to unleash their fury if they didn't act fast. Suddenly, the human voice returned, its tone now filled with urgency. "We are aware of the threat aboard the Unity." The woman exclaimed, "We did not anticipate any aggression." Valen took a breath, rallying his composure. "This is Commander Valen. We are under attack. We need your assistance. Can you confirm your fleet's intentions?" The woman hesitated a moment and then replied, "We will defend you, but understand our situation is precarious. There are factions within our ranks that do not share our desire for peace." Her words struck Taryn deeply. Factions within the human fleet. She thought, could their hope for unity be torn apart by dissent? As the crew prepared for battle, the uncertainty of their situation loomed heavy. Valen issued orders to ready the ship for evasive maneuvers. They couldn't allow the hostile vessel to gain the upper hand. As he prepared to engage the ship, Taryn felt a surge of determination. This was not just a test of strength, but a test of diplomacy. "Listen to me, Valen," said his voice steady. "We need to show them that we are allies, not enemies." Taryn nodded, urging him to continue. She turned back to the communications officer. "Can we send a signal indicating our intent to collaborate?" "We can try," the officer replied, "but it may not be enough. The hostile ship has already locked its weapons on us." As if on cue, the hostile ship fired a warning shot. The blast shook the Unity, sending a tremor through the hull. The crew shouted in alarm. Valen quickly regained his focus, urging them to maintain control. "We need to show them we are not afraid." Taryn set her voice steady. She stepped forward, addressing the comm system. "This is Counselor Taryn. We do not wish to fight. We come in peace." Silence hung in the air as the words echoed through the void. The hostile ship paused, as if considering her statement. Valen seized the moment. Turning to the human representative, "We need your help," he implored. Moments felt like hours as they waited for a response. Suddenly, the human voice cut through the tension. "We will intervene," the woman declared. Taryn's heart raced with hope, but she also felt the weight of uncertainty. Could they truly trust these humans? Would their efforts be enough to avert disaster? The human ships began to maneuver into formation, their weapons primed and ready to defend the Unity against the incoming threat. A fierce sense of unity ignited among the crew as they prepared to face the unknown together. Valen barked orders as they worked in tandem with the humans, a renewed sense of purpose, driving them forward. This was not just about survival anymore. This was about forging a new path in a galaxy fraught with peril. As the hostile ship charged forward, the Unity and the human fleet stood together, ready to face whatever came next. The stakes had never been higher, and the fate of their civilizations rested in their hands. The moment of truth was upon them, and the echoes of history loomed large in the silence of space. The tension aboard the Unity was palpable as the crew braced for the incoming attack. The ship vibrated underfoot as the hostile vessel prepared to fire its weapons. Commander Valen shouted commands, ensuring everyone was ready for the onslaught. Taryn could feel her heart pounding in her chest as she took her place at the communications console. The human fleet had formed a protective barrier around them, their ships glimmering with determination and resolve. She glanced at the monitor, showing the hostile ship, its silhouette looming larger and more menacing by the second. The human representative's voice came through the comm system, steady and reassuring. "We will stand with you," she declared. As the ships readied their weapons, each member of the crew felt a flicker of hope igniting within the chaos. Suddenly, the hostile ship unleashed a barrage of energy blasts, striking the formation of the human fleet. The explosions illuminated the dark expanse of space. Bright flashes cutting through the shadows. Taryn gasped as she witnessed the destruction unfold. The humans responded with swift precision, their ships weaving and firing in a coordinated effort. It was a sight to behold, a display of tactical brilliance that made Taryn's heart swell with pride, yet fear gnawed at her gut. How many lives would be lost in this battle? How could they avert disaster when tensions were so high? As the fight raged on, Valen maintained focus, barking orders to his crew. They had to hold the line, but the reality of their situation weighed heavily on him. The human fleet was not just a potential ally, it was also a risk, a source of fear within the Council that could either lead to salvation or destruction. Counselor Taryn felt that fear grow more pronounced. The human voice on the comm system broke through her thoughts. "We are losing ships," the representative shouted, urgency flooding her tone. "They are targeting our weak points." The words struck like a blow to Taryn's chest. "We must find a way to protect both fleets," she urged. "We cannot afford to let this escalate into a war. Valen nodded as he maneuvered the Unity through the onslaught of fire, rallying his crew. We need to establish a defensive formation now. As the two fleets fought side by side, Taran observed the camaraderie building between them. The humans and the council members worked together, seamlessly overcoming the initial doubts and fears that had plagued them. But even as they fought bravely, the shadows of doubt loomed large. What would happen? If they failed, what if the conflict spiraled out of control? Could they trust these humans not to revert to their violent past? Amid the chaos, the lead human ship took a critical hit. The explosion rocked the Unity as debris scattered across the void. Taran's heart sank as she watched a plume of smoke billow from the damaged vessel. The human representative's voice returned, breathless but determined. "We will not give up," she proclaimed. "In the face of adversity, we will rise." Valen rallied his team, pushing them harder as the hostile ship continued its relentless assault. The humans retaliated with fierce determination as the two fleets fought to protect one another. Taran felt a flicker of hope reignite deep within her as she saw the human ships adapting their strategies, improvising in ways that showcased their ingenuity. It was a testament to their resilience and their capacity for collaboration. As they battled on, Taran could see the tide beginning to turn. The hostile ship faltered under the combined assault. Their weapons fire weakened and their formations broke. This was their chance. Taran realized they needed to strike. While the enemy was vulnerable, Commander Valen raised his voice over the din. "We need to finish this now." With newfound resolve, the Unity joined the fray, unleashing its weapons alongside the human fleet. The energy of the battle surged around them, igniting a fierce desire to emerge victorious. But even in the midst of battle, the question lingered in the back of Taran's mind. Would this fight forge a bond or deepen the rift between their peoples? As they pressed on, she knew they had to find an answer before it was too late. As the battle raged on, Taran felt a surge of adrenaline coursing through her veins. Every explosion ignited her determination, but a nagging voice in her mind reminded her of the fragile nature of their alliance with the humans. This was not just a test of strength, it was also a test of their diplomacy. Commander Valen's voice broke through the chaos. "We need a plan," he shouted as the hostile ship began to falter, its defenses weakened under the relentless assault. Taran nodded and turned to the communications officer. "Can we establish a secure line with the human lead ship?" she asked, urgency coloring her tone. The officer quickly worked the controls, establishing a link with the human fleet. The voice of the human representative filled the air. "Once more, we have a window of opportunity," she declared, "but we need to act fast." Valen stepped forward, ready to seize the moment. "What do you propose?" he asked, his eyes locking onto the screen. "We can initiate a combined tactical maneuver," she explained. "If we can distract them while simultaneously launching a coordinated attack, we may be able to disable their weapons without destroying the ship." Taran's heart raced at the thought they would need to trust each other completely, but it was a chance they had to take. They could not allow fear to dictate their actions. Valen turned to his crew, rallying them with confidence. "We will execute this plan and show them what we can achieve together." As the Unity and the human ships maneuvered into position, Taran felt a wave of anticipation wash over her. She could see the hostile ship struggling to regain its footing, its crew desperate to hold on to the power they once had. With the fleets now aligned, they initiated their plan. The human ships darted forward, drawing the attention of the hostile vessel, while the Unity moved into position behind them. A well-timed strike would catch the enemy off guard. The moment arrived as the human ships executed their maneuvers. The enemy opened fire, but the humans deftly evaded the blasts, their agility remarkable against the massive bulk of the hostile ship. Now Valen shouted as he signaled to fire the Unity's weapons. The blasts hit their mark, striking the enemy's weapons array, a precise shot designed to disable rather than destroy. The ship rocked under the impact. The enemy's fire faltered as alarms blared throughout their hull. The human fleet seized the moment, launching their own attacks, targeting the ship's critical systems. Taryn felt a mix of relief and exhilaration as they watched the hostile ship struggle to maintain control, its weapons now rendered ineffective. But the fight was not over yet. As the crew celebrated their brief victory, the human representative's voice rang out once more. They are attempting to send a distress signal. She warned, we need to prevent that from happening. Panic surged through Taryn's mind. They could not allow their enemies to call for reinforcements. Valen quickly gave the order to intercept the signal, but doubts crept in. What if they were fighting not just for survival, but for the future of their alliance with humanity? As the Unity moved to block the signal, a shadow fell over the control room. Taryn could feel the weight of history pressing down upon them. In that moment, would they be seen as conquerors or protectors? As the hostile ship continued to falter, Taryn realized that their actions today would define their relationship with the humans. Could they forge a lasting alliance? Or would this battle sow the seeds of distrust that could unravel everything? Valen's voice brought her back to the present. We need to secure the area, he said, urgency lacing his words. Prepare for any further threats. Taryn nodded, knowing they had to act swiftly. The decisions they made now would shape the future of their civilizations, and the fate of the galaxy hung in the balance. With the enemy ship disabled, the crews of both fleets worked side by side to secure the area. Tension eased as they navigated the aftermath of the battle, but the question loomed large. Would they emerge as allies or adversaries in the days to come? As they prepared for what lay ahead, Taryn felt the weight of hope and fear collide within her. The outcome of their shared destiny remained uncertain, yet the journey had only just begun. As the dust settled in the aftermath of the battle, Taryn took a moment to catch her breath. The air was thick with tension, but also with a flicker of hope. The human representative's ship remained steady as both fleets worked together to assess the damage. Valen stood at the command console, his expression a mixture of relief and determination. We did it, he said. We fought side by side and emerged victorious, but we cannot let our guard down. Taryn nodded. The hostile ship drifted in silence, now a testament to their combined strength. But what would happen next lingered in the air like a charged storm cloud. Would their victory lead to further unity or deepen the divide? The human representative's voice came through the comm system. We need to address the damage on both sides. She urged, we must ensure our injured receive medical attention and assess the losses. Valen agreed, quickly arranging for the two fleets to dock and share resources, their cooperation now vital. In the wake of conflict, Taryn felt a sense of pride as she watched the human crew members move about their ship, their determination evident despite the chaos they had just faced. As the ships linked together, Taryn joined Valen on the Unity's deck, ready to oversee the joint effort to provide aid both to their own crew and to the humans. The atmosphere buzzed with activity as medical teams mobilized, each member aware of the stakes. This was not just a battle for survival, it was a chance to build something greater. A human medic approached Taryn, her expression resolute. We need to combine our resources. She said, our teams can work together, we can learn from each other. Taryn felt a warmth spread through her at the offer. It was a small step toward forging a bond that could transcend their differences. As the teams worked side by side, Taryn observed the human medic treating an injured council officer. Both crews exchanged stories of their experiences in battle, learning about each other's strengths and vulnerabilities. In the midst of this newfound camaraderie, Taryn felt her doubts begin to fade. Could they truly trust these humans? Could they form an alliance that would last? Valen joined her side, his eyes scanning the activity around them. He seemed contemplative. What do you think? He asked. Do you believe this can work? Taryn considered his question. The air was thick with potential. The humans had shown resilience in the face of danger. they had fought beside them. When everything seemed lost, perhaps, this was a turning point. But even as hope blossomed in her heart, Taryn felt a nagging fear. What if the factions within the human fleet chose to reject this path of cooperation? What if conflict arose once more? Suddenly, the human representative's voice broke through her thoughts. "We need to discuss our next steps." She set her tone steady. Valen gestured for her to join them. The group gathered in the Unity's command center, each member acutely aware of the significance of their next actions. The human representative addressed the room. "We have survived this encounter together, but we must also consider those who may not share our desire for peace. We need to establish protocols to prevent future conflicts." Valen nodded in agreement. "Yes, we need to outline a framework for collaboration." He said, "We cannot let our past dictate our future." As the discussion unfolded, Taryn felt the weight of history upon them. Their decisions would echo across the galaxy, shaping the relationship between their peoples. Ideas flowed as they brainstormed solutions for communication and joint missions, each suggestion built upon the last, creating a tapestry of hope that began to weave them together. Taryn realized this was more than just a negotiation. It was a chance to redefine their legacies. They had faced adversity together and emerged not as enemies, but as allies, forging a new path forward in a galaxy fraught with uncertainty. As the meeting concluded, Taryn felt a sense of purpose settling over her. They were on the brink of something monumental. This was their chance to create a future where cooperation triumphed over conflict and unity conquered division. Together, they would face whatever challenges lay ahead, and the first steps toward a new alliance had been taken, one filled with promise and potential in the uncharted cosmos that awaited them. The atmosphere in the Unity's command center had transformed into a space of collaboration and optimism. The crews of both fleets worked side by side, exchanging ideas and strategies for their future endeavors. Taryn felt a renewed sense of hope as she watched the human representatives and council members engage in discussions filled with energy and determination. As the day wore on, plans were made to launch a joint exploration mission into the neighboring sector. It was a bold step, one that would test their newfound alliance, but also showcase their commitment to unity. Valen gathered the team before the launch. The excitement in the air was palpable. He addressed them with a fervor that stirred their spirits. "Today, we embark on a journey that will not only define our partnership, but also our place in the galaxy." Taryn stood beside him, feeling the weight of his words. "We have faced adversity together," he continued, "and we have proven that we can rise above our fears. Let us carry that strength into the unknown." With the preparations underway, the two fleets set out together, the Unity leading the way, flanked by the human ships. As they moved into uncharted space, Taryn took a deep breath, absorbing the significance of the moment. This was more than just an exploration. It was a declaration of their resolve. As they entered the sector, the crew monitored their sensors closely. The vast expanse of stars stretched before them like a blank canvas, filled with infinite possibilities. Suddenly, the sensors lit up, indicating an energy signature nearby. Taryn's heart raced as she scanned the readings. It was unlike anything they had encountered before, a swirling mass of energy pulsating with vibrant colors. "What is that?" Valen asked as he leaned closer to the screen. "It appears to be a natural phenomenon," Taryn replied, her curiosity piqued. "It's emitting waves of energy. We should investigate." The human representative nodded in agreement. It could provide valuable insights into our understanding of this region. As they approached the phenomenon, Taryn felt a surge of excitement, mingled with apprehension. They had come so far, and this encounter could either solidify their partnership or unravel it. As they drew closer, the energy began to pulse rhythmically, sending waves of light cascading through space. The crew watched in awe. The colors danced across the screens, mesmerizing in their beauty. Suddenly the energy surged, and a shockwave rippled outward. The Unity shook violently. The crew scrambled to maintain control. Valen shouted orders, his voice cutting through the panic. "Stabilize the ship," he commanded. "We need to regain our position." The human ships struggled as well, their crews working frantically to maintain control. Taryn felt her heart race as they fought against the forces threatening to tear them apart. In that moment of chaos, a human pilot executed a daring maneuver, using the energy waves to propel their ship forward. It was a calculated risk, one that showcased their ingenuity and fearlessness. Taryn watched in admiration as the human pilot navigated the chaos with grace and precision, using the energy waves to their advantage. The crew rallied around her spirit, each member pushing themselves to adapt and overcome. As the shockwave subsided, the Unity regained stability, and the human fleet emerged unscathed. The moment had forged an unspoken bond between them, a testament to their shared resolve. "We did it," Valen exclaimed as he took a breath of relief, his eyes shining with pride. "Yes," Taryn agreed, "their cooperation has made all the difference." As they continued their journey through the sector, the crews began to share stories of their experiences, their laughter echoing through the ship, a welcome sound amidst the backdrop of the stars. With each passing moment, their camaraderie deepened. The walls that had once divided them began to crumble brick by brick. They were no longer strangers, but allies united by a shared purpose. As they ventured further into the unknown, Taryn realized that this was just the beginning. They had faced challenges together, and in doing so had laid the foundation for a partnership that could withstand the test of time. With the energy phenomenon behind them and new horizons ahead, they sailed into the stars, ready to explore the universe hand in hand, forging a legacy that would resonate throughout the galaxy for generations to come. As the exploration mission continued, Taryn felt a sense of exhilaration building within her. The journey through the uncharted sector had brought new discoveries and experiences that cemented the bond between the Council and the humans. Weeks passed as they navigated through breathtaking nebulae and uncharted worlds. The crews shared knowledge and resources, uncovering secrets of the universe that had long remained hidden. One day, as they approached a vibrant planet teeming with life, Valen called for a meeting in the Unity's command center. The atmosphere was charged with anticipation. "This planet appears to be rich in resources and potential for habitation," he stated as the view screen displayed the lush greenery and swirling oceans. The human representative leaned forward, her eyes sparkling with excitement. "We should conduct a thorough survey of the planet. It could be the first step toward a new home for both our peoples." Taryn nodded, feeling the weight of history in that moment. They were on the brink of something monumental, a chance to forge a legacy that would transcend their past conflicts. As the Unity and human ships descended through the atmosphere, the breathtaking landscape unfolded before them, mountains rising majestically against the skyline and rivers winding through dense forests. Once they landed, teams began to disembark. Excitement coursing through the air, Taryn stepped onto the planet's surface, taking in the rich scents of the alien flora. A sense of wonder enveloped her. The human crews were equally captivated, marveling at the vibrant colors and sounds of this new world. They shared stories and laughter, their camaraderie a testament to the journey they had taken together. As they explored the planet, Taryn felt a deepening sense of connection, not just with the humans, but with the very essence of life around them. It was as if the universe itself was welcoming them into a new chapter. During one of their excursions, Valen and the human representative gathered the teams together to discuss the findings they had made. "This planet has everything we need to thrive," Valen said, his voice filled with optimism, "and we can establish a settlement here." The human representative added, "We can integrate our technologies and knowledge, ensuring that we create a harmonious environment for both our peoples." Taryn felt a surge of hope as they mapped out their plans. It was more than just survival. It was about cohabitation and cooperation, a vision of the future where differences were celebrated. But even amidst the excitement, doubts lingered in the back of her mind. Would they truly be able to create this new reality together? As they continued their work, they encountered challenges negotiating the integration of their cultures and technologies. Some moments were fraught with tension, but they faced them head-on together, learning and adapting. One day, as they stood atop a hill overlooking the settlement, Taryn took a moment to reflect on how far they had come from the chaos of battle to the promise of collaboration. It was a journey that had changed them all. Vavan approached her, his expression contemplative. "We have built something extraordinary," he said, "but we must remain vigilant. We cannot forget our past." Taryn nodded, understanding the weight of his words. Their history was a reminder of what was at stake and the need for continued cooperation. As the sun set, casting a golden hue across the landscape, Taryn felt a sense of peace settle over her. They had forged a new path together, a partnership that would endure the tests of time. In that moment, she realized that this was not just about surviving in the galaxy. It was about thriving, creating a legacy of unity and hope that would inspire generations to come. Together, they would face whatever challenges lay ahead. And as the stars began to twinkle in the night sky, Taryn knew that a new dawn had emerged for both their peoples, one filled with promise and potential, ready to illuminate the vastness of the universe. And so they stood united beneath the stars, forging ahead into the unknown, hand in hand, ready to shape their destiny and explore the infinite wonders of the cosmos together.